Welcome back to another video recipe. I'm Chef Devaux and I'm going to teach you how to make eggs Benedict. Now I do realize there's a lot of YouTube videos already out there covering how to make eggs Benedict quite well. So to not make just another video to add to that long list of videos that look the same, this is going to be an all-encompassing video to show how to make eggs Benedict two different ways. So we're going to have the very normal classic way, which most YouTube videos are, and then a highly technical professional way, which isn't really that technical, but it uses stuff like a sous-vide machine and a whipping siphon to get a completely different result. But in essence, the same dish. So we're going to start off first by some of the basics, which are used in both recipes, like the wine reduction and the clarified butter, and I'm going to start off with the wine reduction. So first, let's get some onions and chop them up. So here we go, I'm just going to chop up some onions, some spring onions to be exact. You can use shallots also, if you want. Now what I'm going to do is just chop it up, so I'm going to cut 90% of the way through, leaving the root part connected to the entire thing so it doesn't fall to bits. Notice I'm cutting with the heel of the knife and just leaving the root on. Okay, so now it's one piece, I can work with this and just chop it quickly. So here we go, up and down motion, and keep your hand in the claw shape. Never contacting the blade with more than just a knuckle. This way you won't lose a finger, hopefully. Okay, so just chop it nice and finely. Just gonna flip it over to do the end piece. And now you'll be left over with a nice manageable little piece of root. Now you can use that for some vegetable stock or throw it away if you can't be bothered, I guess. Okay, so now I'm just gonna weigh it out. I only need 100 grams of finely chopped spring onion. You can also use shallot. Okay, so nearly there. Alright, so just right, perfect, 100 grams. Alright, so now I'm just going to wipe my board here and bring those 100 grams back. There we go. Now you're going to need 80 grams of vinegar, or 80 milliliters of vinegar, which I've measured out, and also 200 milliliters of white wine. So here I'm just going to pour it out while I get my pan. Okay, there we go. So now I'm just going to add these to a pan and just bring it to a low simmer just so it can reduce. So I'm just going to put it about half gas. Now I'm just going to add my onions and my wine, just like this. And now my 80 milliliters of vinegar. Okay, so add a couple of black peppercorns too, just for some flavor. And now you want to simmer and reduce this down for about 8 to 12 minutes. So just a nice slow boil like this. And once in a while you may want to stir it around a little bit just to do something while you're waiting. So there we go. Alright, so this is how it looks like before. And after the 8 to 12 minutes, it will look like this. Very syrupy consistency. And what's happened here is it's infused the onion flavors and the peppercorns with the white wine and vinegar, and it's just taking a little bit of that edge off the vinegar and reduced away most of the alcohol in the wine. So now what you want to do is just sieve it. So just place a glass bowl with a sieve over it and place it all into the sieve. Alright, so you want it to just naturally drain out. So don't go pressing it down through the sieve. Just let it rest and let the liquid fall through. I'm just going to put this to one side so they can do that. And now you can start with your clarified butter. Okay, so here I'm just going to put a pan on a very low heat. Important to have very low heat. And now I'm just going to put my butter blocks in there, one at a time. Now I'm using much more than I actually need here, because you can make lots of this in advance and then just put it in the fridge for later. So I'm just going to pop 3 of these in. Okay, so very important, you want to have this on a very low heat. You don't want the butter to bubble over. And under no circumstances must you mix it around like this. This is what you should not do, because then you'll agitate it and you'll mix the layers and it just won't work out. So just let it reduce nice and slowly without touching it. And okay, this is how it should look like once it's done. You should have a layer of froth on top, which you'll remove with a spoon. Nice and slowly, make sure you don't mix it in. And take your time with this. Okay, so there we go. Nearly there. Now one more thing to note is don't boil your butter. If you boil it, you'll caramelize it and then you'll have a very weird taste. So you don't want that to happen. Okay, so I'm nearly done here. Once you remove all the foam, or like 95%, that's good enough really. Then what you want to do is just take a beaker and pour out the butter fats. And make sure you leave behind the milk solids inside the pan. So I'm just going to gently pour it out like this, leaving behind the milk solids in the pan. Nearly there. So you can see as I get to the bottom, the milk solids are going to start to pour out. You're going to have to go backwards a little bit, just stop that from happening. And then you're just going to keep trying to do that. So at that point, I would suggest you stop pouring and then maybe pull back and try again. And if that keeps going, then stop. And then you're going to have to spoon it out. So what you want to do is just get a spoon at this point. Alright, so you're just going to want to take your time and scoop out the butter fats with a spoon. Like this. Now I don't have time for this, so I'm just going to put it to one side and you get the gist. Okay, so now you have your clarified butter. Now you can keep this for a long time in the fridge, so make a bunch of it and just store it away. Okay, so you can put that aside for later. And now just take a pan, put it on the heat again, and add a little layer of water at the bottom so you can create some steam. Don't fill it up to the top. Now heat that up. And what we're going to do is place a glass bowl on top or a metal bowl. And this is going to serve as a double boiler for you to be able to make your hollandaise sauce. So you add 1.5 tablespoons of your vinegar reduction, just like this. There's the other half. And then you're going to want to add your 3 egg yolks and just whisk them in. Now you want to never stop whisking, because otherwise you'll start to cook your egg yolks and you want to watch out for that. Right, so what we're going for here is a nice thick consistency of sabayon. So you just keep whisking it until you get that beautiful creamy texture. Okay, so this is going to take a little bit, so I'm just going to skip forward for you guys here at some point. Okay, so there we go. This is the nice thick texture I was talking about. And now you're going to want to start adding your clarified butter. So you add very little at a time, a very, very little amount, because what you're going to do here is you're going to create an emulsion between the egg yolks and the fat in the butter fat. And the way this works is you have lecithin inside the egg yolk, which binds water, which is inside the egg yolk, with the fat, which is from the clarified butter in this case. Right, so you just keep adding butter fat very slowly so it has time to adhere to the water and bind together. Now, what you can do is add an extra spoon of water so it has a bit more water to work with to balance out with the fat. So here we go, just add a nice spoon of water, and this helps to create a more stable emulsion. Okay, so just keep mixing it and slowly add in your clarified butter bit by bit. Now it's very important to keep stirring. This takes quite a while to do, so just have some patience with this and just keep adding it. You may have to take it off the double boiler if it gets too hot, but that doesn't seem to be the case yet. Alright, so at this point you've added the whole 130 grams of clarified butter into it nice and slowly, and you fully emulsified it, and it's a very nice thick creamy sauce. Now you want to do the spoon test, where you cover the back of a spoon with the sauce and then draw your finger across it, and the line should stay. Not too thick and not too thin, just perfect. Okay, so at this point what you want to do is you want to season your hollandaise sauce, and you do this by adding a little bit of lemon, just like this, and then you want to add a little bit of salt to taste. So mix it in and then taste it, and if it's right, then leave it. If you need more, then just add some more. This is perfect. So I'm just going to put this hollandaise sauce to one side now this is finished. Okay, now put another pan on the heat with some water inside, and then add a lot of vinegar. This will make sure that when the egg goes into the water that it tightens up straight away. So now what you want to do is you want to have a very fresh egg. Very important to have a fresh egg, and just pop it into a bowl like this, and then you just want to sieve it through a skimmer and make sure that it doesn't go through. If it's a fresh egg, what will happen is the egg will remain intact and a little bit of liquid from the egg will fall through, but not the entire white bit. This step will make sure that when you throw it into the water, you don't get all those stringy pieces of egg white flying around. Alright, so now just stir your water with a paddle to make sure you get a nice centrifuge effect, and then pop your egg into the middle. And as you'll see here, there's no stringy bits, it's just one poached egg. Okay. Alright, so just keep stirring it so that the egg doesn't stick to the bottom. And you want to cook it for about 3.5 minutes, or when it rises to the top, just like you see here. That's normally a sign of it being ready. And now you just scoop it out and place it on a napkin so the excess water can drain off. Perfect. Now you put a toasted muffin on the bottom and add some smoked salmon on top, just like this. Then you take your poached egg and you lay that perfectly on top, just like so. And now last but not least, you place some thick, nice creamy Hollandaise sauce, which you just made earlier, over your egg. And then you add just a touch of cayenne pepper, just for that little kick. Just a little sprinkle will do, just like that. Bam. Okay, and now for some vibrance and color and some freshness, some chopped chives. And there we go, perfect eggs Benedict. Okay, now for the fun part, to eat it. Here we go, look at that. Oh man, that looks amazing. Oh man. That is amazing. Delicious. That's all I have to say. Okay. Okay, so that was how to make eggs Benedict the classic way. The way you can make it home, everybody can do it, and there's 1,000 videos on YouTube showing how to make it. Now I'm going to show you how to make it the professional way, using a sous-vide machine and a siphon, and it's a bit more complex, but it's not that difficult. So if you want, you can give it a go at home, as long as you have the equipment to do it. Okay, so I'm just going to get some things together, and we're going to start cooking. Let's go. Okay, so now to make some professional Hollandaise sauce. Take 5 egg yolks, and you just pour them into a beaker. Then you take 4 spoons of the vinegar wine reduction I made earlier, and just scoop them in. And then 4 spoons of water also. Just like so. Okay, great. And now you just want to blend this up. So just take a hand blender or a normal blender or a food processor, whatever you have, just something to shear it up. Preferably not just a whisk. Okay, so once you've blended it nice and smooth, that should do. Just take your blender out. And pour this into a Ziploc bag. Just gonna open it. There we go. Okay, perfect. Now you want to take this and you want to cook it sous vide for about 35 minutes at 65 degrees Celsius. And what this does is it changes the egg yolk texture to very creamy, thick, custard-like texture, and it's fully cooked. So it's perfect. Okay. So here we're just going to pull out the egg yolks. This has been 35 minutes now. And just open your Ziploc bag and pour it back into a beaker or something you can blend it again in. Alright, so look at that beautiful thick texture you have now from the egg yolks. Just going to squeeze it all out. There we go. And now what you want to do is just take another hand blender and you want to slowly incorporate in your clarified butter. So just put it in and slowly start pouring it in as you blend. Okay, so the amount we're adding here is 240 milliliters of clarified butter. And you just want to add it in nice and slowly, just so that again it emulsifies, and then once you've added it in nice and slowly, you can start adding faster and faster and faster until it's fully emulsified into the mixture. Okay. So this is going to take a little bit of time. You can do this in any kind of blender. You can also use a normal blender or a food processor. Anything will do. It doesn't have to be a hand immersion blender. Just, you can't do this in a whisk. That's the only downfall. You have to do this with a shear thing. Make it happen fast. Okay, so there we go. Once that's added, what you want to do is you want to season it just like before. We're going to add some salt. Just again to taste, so you try it the first time, figure out what you like, and then you know the amount of salt and lemon you need to add every single time. Also, it's very important to taste and just check every time because it might have changed. Okay, so just squeeze some lemon juice in and then just blend it again. Now at this point, you want to taste it to make sure you're on the right track. Let's just see. Okay, perfect. That's that done for me. And now I'm going to add it into a siphon. Now this is an Issy siphon, I think it's called. It's a great quality one, I must say. Okay, so just pour this into a siphon right now. Nice and slowly. Look at that thick texture you have now. Just beautiful. Alright, so once you've poured it all into the siphon, just like that. Now the great thing about doing it in a siphon is that you can leave this in a hot water bath at about 55 degrees Celsius and nothing will happen to it. So it can just be ready for service. So this is more like a restaurant style thing to do. And what you can then do is just shake it up and spray it out. Alright, so here I'm just going to add the lid on and I'm going to put 2 cartridges of nitrous oxide. Here's the first one. Just tighten it in. There we go. And then untighten it to take it out. There we go. The gas stays in. Now you put the second cartridge in. And again, you put it in. And then you have 2 cartridges worth in there. Perfect. Now whenever you want to use it, you just mix it very vigorously. Shake it up and down. Don't be too scared. And then you want to end the last shake on a shake down. So just want to do it upside down, like this, and then just shake it down. Then slowly, softly press it out. And you get a very, very foamy texture hollandaise. It's almost like a whipped cream nearly. It's very, very different to any other hollandaise you've had before. So this is a little bit of innovation here. There we go, look at that. That's the lightest, creamiest hollandaise you'll ever have. Okay, so now I'm going to do the egg the professional way, and instead of poaching it, what we're going to do is we're going to put it in a sous vide machine. So you just take a whole egg like this, and you just place it in a sous vide machine at 75 degrees Celsius for 13 minutes. Depending slightly by the egg size, you may vary it by 1 minute either way. And this achieves the perfect texture. So while that's going, I'm just going to add a little bit more of that clarified butter into a pan because I have a lot of it. And then I'm just going to quickly sear my smoked cooked ham. Now this is packed with flavor already, but just giving it a little bit of color just adds a little bit extra taste and texture, and it makes it a little bit better. So just quickly sear it in a pan, just like this. You can see that beautiful browning happening already, and this is developing the flavors already much more than it already has. Okay, so once that's done, you just pull it out of the pan and put it to one side until you need it. Okay, so there we go. And now it's been 13 minutes. I'm going to take my egg out. There we go. Perfectly cooked. Put it to one side. And now take a toasted muffin, place it on a plate. Take that ham, place that on top of that. Perfect. And now you crack the egg and you just literally pop it over. Look at that. Perfectly poached egg. Well, not really poached, it was poached in the shell really, but just great. And it's still got the great essence of an egg. Alright, so now you take your siphon with the Hollandaise sauce, mix it vigorously again, and then you just squirt it over like this. Look at that. Perfect. Nice airy Hollandaise sauce. Okay, I'm just going to put a bit more here. Now you want to have very precise control over the throttle here, otherwise it'll spray out. Okay, so now I'm going to add a little bit of cayenne pepper, just like before. There we go, just give it a little bit of kick. And then some chopped fresh chives, just to give it that extra piece of color. Look at that. Voila. And now for the great part, to eat it. Look at that egg yolk, perfectly runny inside. And just the textures here are amazing. It's completely different to other eggs Benedict. It's just something special. Delicious. Just great. So there we go, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to hit the like button down there somewhere and share it on Facebook and Google Plus and whatever social media you love the most. Now, a little serving tip. I usually love to eat my eggs Benedict, one with smoked salmon and one with smoked ham, and then just take a nibble of each and then have a little break from one and the other. Because I find the smoked salmon's got a very strong taste, and I like to have a little break, go to smoked ham, and that's a bit lighter and a little bit yeah, it just keeps things interesting. And it creates a sort of surf and turf of eggs Benedict, which I really enjoy. I really urge you guys to give that a try too. Now, every week I ask you guys a question, so this week, to keep on topic with eggs and stuff, since I'm cooking a lot of eggs here, how do you guys enjoy to eat your eggs in the morning? For breakfast or for lunch, for dinner, whatever. What recipe do you guys enjoy the most? Or maybe you've made up a recipe. Just let me know in the comment section below, and it'll be interesting to see what you guys respond. Now, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, you can do so right now by clicking on the top left corner of your screen, and you can check out all my other videos by clicking on the right. Also, don't forget to check out my website, makesushi.org, where I show you guys how to make a lot of sushi recipes and take the time to write up the recipes. So click here to check that out. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys next week. Goodbye.